So you want to learn how to draw? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Robbie Greer from Rusticated-Art, and this is my Fun Times Family Art playlist where you get to draw along with me from the comfort of your own home. Now this week I'm going to show you an easy way on how to draw ears. These things. Now be sure to watch through to the end, because not only will I be showing you all the tips and techniques that I've learned along the way, but I'll also be giving a shout out to another very special channel. So what do you reckon? You ready to get started? Come on then. Alright, now today I'm going to show you how to draw an ear. Now, most of you know, if you've been following along on my channel, I love to use the grid method just to get everything in the right place. I find it's the easiest way. So what I've done is I've drawn a grid. Now it is, I'll just get my ruler out, 8 centimeters by 12, and then I've cut it in half, divided it in half, and then divided that into quarters. So they're not the same across. It's 4 across by 3, but that doesn't matter because it's the same as the picture that I'm using, the referral picture. Alright, now one thing about ears is that basically every ear is different. They're like a fingerprint. However, they are basically the same shape, and that's all they are. They're just shapes. So I'm just going to do the one ear today, and what we're going to do, using the grid, we're just going to go around and do it. So all I've done is I've downloaded an ear. It's a bit strange. I've Pixabay, put it into a grid, and that's what we're going to follow along with. So probably first of all is really, if we look at this, it's just over the halfway mark, and we're going to go up to there. The first shape is going to be similar, and then remember now, when I use the grid and that, and then using the reference photo, I'm not trying to do it exact. That's just to help. It's a guide. Alright, just makes it easier. And that there's the halfway, so it's just over halfway. There's halfway there, so we'll go there. I like to put dots, you know, so we know where we're going to join up. And that'll come down there. So basically, if we look at that, it's the letter C. And then we are going to come inside that, and it's a little bit wider there. So, and they're not, like if you look at this carefully, it's not a perfect round, is it? Look, it's all different thicknesses and widths. That's what we're going to do. And there, and that's going to come to about there. And there we go, across that sort of a little bit straighter, not so round, and then that'll come down to about there. It sort of comes out a little bit. I mean, you can do this freehand. All I'm trying to do is show you an easier way to do it. You know, especially if you haven't done a lot of drawing before. I find myself that I prefer to use the grid method. Now, we've got this little bit here, and that's, we go halfway. It's sort of about halfway. Just go by eye. That'll be about there. There, and then that'll come around about the halfway mark again, and then there's a little bump there. As I said, every ear is different. However, basically the shape is the same similar type of shapes. I don't want to say they're the same shapes, but they're similar. Now, so that there is the halfway point, but we don't want to go halfway. We're going to be about there. It sort of comes around, and then you got that little bit that sort of comes in front of where the ear hole is. It? I don't know. Anyway, like that. See? And then over here, come down here. It's really all about the shading. That's why I'm gonna. Well, that's why I actually enjoy doing ears and things like that, because I love doing the shading. Now, this is going to be in shade. I don't really want to put a line, but I will just as a guide. You can always rub that out. So from here, now normally with an ear, you sort of got to, even though it's not as evident here, but if you look at a lot of ears, you'll see it's sort of like a Y shape. And most of the times that'll come across to be darker, but that's why I say they're all different, but it's sort of like a little Y in there. So I've just put a bit of shade in there just to emphasize that a bit, okay? And this is just all cartilage and what have you, and then we want to come around here. Don't try and get it exact, doesn't matter. It'll still look like an ear. And of course, some ears down the bottom join straight onto the side of your head, or there's a sort of a, you know, they connect up here. Either or either. Mine is sort of connecting up here. And here's where the ear canal is. And here goes right through to there, and then there's another here like that, and we're going to shade it. Now, the other thing is to where does the ear actually fit or go on the side of your head? Well, it goes the top of the eyebrow, that's the top of the ear, and the bottom of your nose is the bottom of the ear. That's where the earlobe would go, and eyebrow. So now I'm going to use a woodcase pencil because they are easier to use as far as shading goes, because I want to put it on its side. And let's just start off. Actually, we'll rub out the guidelines first because they can be a bit of a pain. We've got everything in place so we know where everything's going to go. Rub them out. Remember, just take your time. Pause whenever you need to. I mean, I go into time lapse only because of time. If time is a factor. Brush away the crumb. And then we'll start to shade. So we'll start at the top and just work our way down. And we're just holding that on there, just doing it lightly. You know, if you really look, there's no real lines. I mean, we have to use lines because we've got to put it on paper. And I like to sort of move around with the flow of the drawing. But in nature, or on our faces, there's no real lines as such. We have a lot of shadows. And of course, these shadows that we're putting in now, yeah, sure, they're where the creases and that are, but they are also dependent on where the light source is coming from. I mean, if the light was down below here, the shadows would be in a different place. This is just sort of looking like as if the light was just in a natural, you know, in a room. So there's no direct light. I'm going to use my blending stump. I just want to put in the main shadows. So we're using mid-tones, we're using light tones, and we're also going to be using dark tones. For example, here, there's a dark tone, that's a mid-tone, mid-tone in here. I'm going to make that a little bit darker so we get that Y shape. And look at people's ears, you know. Not so bad when you're looking at their ears because they can't see you because you're looking at them side on. Not like if you're trying to look at their eyes or nose or something, but study people. So basically we've got it all blocked in. I'm going to get me blending stump and we go in and blend it. We'll do the darks first. Because everything is sort of rounded, so just going around the edge there like that. And like I said, I'm just putting a bit more in this area here because more often than not, it is like a Y shape. Now where it's darker, Well, actually, we'll just go over that a bit too. Let me use my brush. I don't want to see these lines here, so we'll get rid of those. Just going to go around here like this. I'll put a bit of graphite, spread a bit of graphite, because there's no real white bits. Just that the paper's white. And where it's darker, go over that again. So our dark tones. And that sort of just blends into there. Using my Tombow, just going to take some, we'll put some highlights in. Get rid of those lines there. Little bits that stick out, they're a bit lighter. Okay, yeah, it's pretty dark in there, so we'll go in there. The ear, canal, in there. That little bump going over there, and I might just sharpen that up a bit in there, and we'll bring that down a bit. Remember, as I said before, every ear is different. Just making that a bit more round, just going over it lightly. I'll blend it. Just doing it lightly. Not pressing too hard. Yeah, it's sort of giving it the effect now that it is really, really round. And of course what I'll do here is just put some highlights in by taking some graphite out. And I'll lighten that up a bit. So I'm going to use my blue tack just to lighten that area there up a bit. Tap, we want a bit more in there and there. Okay, we're getting there. See, we're just slowly building layers. That's what we're doing. We're not doing hyper realism or anything like that. All I'm trying to show you is how to do a realistic ear as opposed to like a cartoon ear. And of course, it's, you know, I made it a bit bigger than what it would normally be. Now here, what I want to do, there would be hair, or maybe not, maybe clean shaven. So all I'm going to do there is just fill that bit in, just colour it in, just to make the ear stand out a bit. That's all. Same over here. Well, there you go. There you have your ear. Now you can play around with it. Take a little bit out, put in some highlights. Well, I hope that was easy enough to follow along. But you know, the thing is, just keep practicing. You can see here where I've got the lines going through that. That happens sometimes, depending on the paper you're using too, so I just want to tap that out. If you're going to be rubbing out the lines, the best way is to, don't just rub out the line, you know, like with my Tombow, don't just rub the line out, because what happens when you go over it, that'll just end up becoming another line. So what you do is, when you do erase that way rather than that way. It's not perfect by any means, but at least it shows you how to go about. And like I said, every ear is different, but they have the same basic shapes. And of course, as we get older, our ears get bigger, and yet when we're babies, our ears are quite big in proportion to our heads. And somewhere in between being a baby and being old, they work out just to be about right. You know, some people's ears stick out, some people's are flat against the head. But anyway, we'll leave it there for now. I hope that was helpful, you know. It's all about just playing around with shadows and shapes. Alright, we'll leave it there for today. And I hope you enjoyed that. Well, that wasn't too hard, was it? You know, it's all about just building up layers, taking your time. And by using the grid method, well anyway, I find personally that to be the easiest way just to get everything in the right place. Alright, now let's jump over to this week's shout-outs. This week I'm doing 2. That's the first time I've ever done that, but they're both worth it. I love both their channels. Now, the first channel we're going to give a shout-out for is Damo's Art Studio, creative artwork. Now, this is a new channel for Damo. He had a channel before, but he decided now he wanted to do more on the tutorial side of things. Now, he is an amazing oil painter. I think he does a little bit of acrylic too, but mainly oil paintings, and his work is realistic. It's so realistic, it's just beautiful. And he also does, on the side, he has a little bit of a cocktail channel as well, playlist, how to make different kinds of drinks. So that's real interesting as well. Now, Damo's a fellow Kiwi. He's working overseas. I think he's still in China. And he has such a knowledge too on what he paints, like airplanes and Boeing 777s, and he knows all about them. Now, Damo asked me if I could give a shout out to the next one, which is Maui Karen Ann. And I have given her a shout out before, but I thought, well, because he's asked, I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to give them both a shout out. Well, that's the first one. Now, Maui Karen Ann is an acrylic pourer, and she does some beautiful artworks. And, you know, every time I see the way they do the pours, I think, man, I'd love to have a go at that. She's a Dutch pour, and she has some really stunning effects. Now, the other thing too, which I enjoy about her channel, is that she puts on some recipes. Famous Dutch apple pancake. I tried making that, and I tell you what, it came out beautiful. Rum balls. I haven't tried those yet, but I'm going to. She's got the family secret bread recipe, and she's a lovely lady. Yeah, you're really going to enjoy her channel. In fact, you'll enjoy both of them. Really genuine people, down to earth. That's one of the things that I found about YouTube is, you know, things can be tough at times, but the people, the other creators that you sort of get to know a lot and you know, chat away with, it makes it all worthwhile. So when you get the chance, jump over to Damo's channel. I'll leave links in the description below, and Maui Karen Ann, and I know you're really going to enjoy them. And don't forget, I will leave a link in the description below. So when you get the chance, jump over and say hello, tell them Robbie from Rusticated-Artist sent you, and I know they'll really appreciate you stopping by. That's what it's all about. Us small YouTubers got to help each other out. Now, a wise person once said, a river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Another good one. Now, if you like what you're seeing, and if you're getting some value, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. Because if you like it, the chances are they're going to like it just as much, and they'll love you for it. Now, this is the first time you've been to my channel, and you'd like to learn more on how to draw, then this video here is the one for you to look at next. Now, if you like what you see and feel you're getting some value, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with your friends, because if you like it, the chances are they're going to like it just as much, and they'll love you for it as well. And if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that red button, ring the bell, that way you'll get notified every time a new video comes out. Well, that's about it for this week. Thanks for stopping by. Stay safe out there, my friends, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place.